Oops. All right, welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast, episode number 205. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, you should be, because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. My name is Wilson Horrell. I am one of your hosts. I'd like to remind you that the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast is not censored, so listen at your own risk. I have sitting next to me, to the right side of me, my lovely and talented, beautiful wife, Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell. Jackson Tan, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Good.
So good to be sitting next to you.
Did you have a good day?
I had a wonderful day. Thank you for asking.
All the way up until she started checking on your computer screen.
Started checking on my computer
Y'all,
screen.
his computer screen is disgusting.
They think it's snotty.
It's gross.
It's got stuff on it.
Ugh.
I'll wipe it off. Somebody is joining us, Mr. Michael Hirons.
Very good.
Yes.
You did it.
All the way from Arkansas. He lives on the Village Creek Trail.
Under a bridge.
Under a bridge. He just stays out there all the time.
All the time.
He is putting on the Almira 50-miler and marathon coming up the first weekend in May. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who are not signed up now, this is your opportunity to do that. But he's going to share with us a little bit about how that came about, a little bit about himself, and we're just going to kind of talk about trail running and events in general.
Yeah.
We also have the Reverend
Hi.
Von Ross.
I'm here.
Looking fly.
I'm sitting right here.
Look at that. You were looking good in the flat-billed hat.
We approve of these hats.
Man.
They're very nice.
Michael
yes.
brought us some Almira hats, and he hit the mark.
If
Yeah.
you need to make a trucker hat for your event, well, you should probably
Talk to
shoot on Michael.
It's not easy to find a good hat.
It's not.
This is
Who'd you
nice.
get to make those?
Andy at Atomic Oglesby. Andy Oglesby.
Okay. How did you know to use his hat? I mean, most people sell. Here's a list of hats, and then you get your hats, and they're crap.
Just talking to him.
Okay, those are quality hats.
Yeah.
Did you
Nice.
say, don't sell me a crap hat?
Sort of.
This is a
No, but I did get to pick them. So
well. This is a top-notch event, so you can't have styrofoam trucker
Subpar.
hat.
Well, something that's important is that the race director can rock a flat-billed hat. Not everybody can get away with that.
That's true.
But Michael, you look good in the hat.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
for sure.
And so that ought to be good for 3 to 4 registrants.
Maybe.
Right there.
Yeah.
They'll see it in your hat, and they'll think, I want to be part of that guy's race.
I want to look just like that guy.
Yeah.
He
I
runs
just
like a
lost
100
about
mile.
3 or 4 runners just then.
We have Big Thirsty Brian Swanson.
What's up?
Man, you've been,
2 weeks in a row.
yeah.
Or 2 episodes in a row.
Okay. You doing okay?
I am.
How's the new house?
Still full of boxes.
Everything good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Everything's coming together slowly but surely.
I thought he was going to leave us for a second there.
I don't know how we have too much furniture already to fill the house, and yet we are buying furniture.
Okay.
Where does a guy like you buy furniture? You don't go to IKEA.
I've got quite a
Where
bit of
the hell he
IKEA
wants to,
furniture.
obviously. I mean, when
guess
you
so.
when you have too much furniture and you're buying more, then that just
We
means
did
you can
not
go
have
anywhere.
a proper dining room table, so we bought a proper dining room table, and then just bought some chairs for that table. So,
Do you need those chairs?
well, I'm going to take that one since
need that
since
one?
Vaughn has identified that one as dining room.
You only
table
have to
chair.
find 7 more.
No, we actually want to go with the odd chair look.
Odd.
Yeah.
Do you?
Not
Okay.
non-matching chairs.
You should have a party where everyone has to bring
Bring
an
a
item of
chair.
furniture, a kitchen table party.
Bring a dining room
I would
chair
be
to
afraid what people would like. Somebody back up with a trailer and be like, "Here's a bed I don't want.
Yeah, it would be everybody's crap they've been trying to get rid of for the past year.
Take it to Swanson's
Bring
house."
like a bean bag.
Oh, good times.
The Almira 50 miler. Tell us where the name Almira came from.
That's my question.
I'm sorry. Did I mess that up?
That's
Yeah.
her question, you dirty screen having dirtbag.
I quit. I'm leaving.
Go ahead, Amanda.
Let's try it again. Go ahead.
So I was wondering where you got Almira from, because I was Googling the origins of the name, and it was aristocrat lady or princess.
Oh, yes. Princess was definitely the reason that we came up with that. No, the story behind it, when I had the idea of this ultra event, I just wanted a neat name, and my brother-in-law, my wife's sister, my wife's brother.
All right.
I mean, it could be.
It's fine.
Anyway, he just, he comes up with crazy ideas and crazy names. He's like, nobody will know what Almira means, so that's a cool name. It's Sarah's middle name, so it's my wife's middle name.
That's a beautiful
Huh.
middle name.
Very cool.
It's a beautiful woman.
Yeah, man,
Aw.
that's a beautiful thing to say.
Well,
I think she's watching.
You are legitimately one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Man, I appreciate that.
I would just like
And you
to
as
say
well.
that my wife is pretty beautiful too.
Yes, she is. Indeed.
Just throw that out there.
Indeed.
I told you grab them while you can, man.
Just feeling a little overshadowed here.
Take that microphone and jam it as close to your mouth as possible. Thank you. You know, I mean, you have nothing to worry about with COVID and everything else. We wash those things about once every 206
I'm
episodes.
fully vaccinated.
Every 206 episodes. That's right.
fully vaccinated. I can
So
look
that's where,
all over this thing.
so that's where it come from. It's my wife's middle name, and we chuckle at when people do ask.
Yeah.
Almira, what's that mean? What is that? It's just her cool name.
It's a great name.
Yeah, and it's just in my time of running, she's always supports me and always is there and super great with ideas. And I was like, you know what? Let's name it after you.
We need to get the community to write a story about like the legend of Almira, like before the event,
Oh, she'll love that.
and just add to it every year, like
Yeah, it doesn't have to be true, right?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Right, okay. Yeah.
How long has your running been going on?
Man, I've officially been running since probably 2011.
Okay.
Around 2010, 2009, I lost a lot of weight. Started bicycling and transformed into, sprint tries. Did several sprint triathlons and then it just kind of got into 5Ks and 10Ks, and then got introduced to me and two buddies of mine, like several others, jumped into Sylamore 25K, and that was my very first trail run.
Okay.
So Sylamore, and then the next year went back for the 50. Just kind of grew from there.
And you've done 100 milers as well.
I have, yeah,
When you say you lost a lot of weight, what's a lot?
180 pounds.
Whoa.
180 pounds.
Yeah.
Man,
That's a whole
that
person.
is
At one time,
incredible.
I found some of it.
Yeah.
I found the kid.
Wow.
That is amazing.
That is
Yeah.
amazing.
I just want to say that I don't think anyone can hear us.
Really?
But
The comments on
Doesn't really
Facebook
matter.
Live feed is that there's no sound.
Son of a bitch.
that's okay. It's recording, so
TJ's like,
We
Wilson.
well, we'll wait on you.
Man, how are we
So
gonna get our brownie
was
points,
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to,
have to
rewind.
have to wait till
redo
it
the
airs.
first part again.
It's a nice picture of your chest and beard.
You really need a cigarette hanging out of your mouth. and talk.
You would be able to tell the difference right now.
Right. just as just enough. So
Yeah.
I don't know why y'all can't hear anything out there. Got a thumbs
TJ
up.
gave he gave a thumbs.
Got a thumbs
well, I don't know
up.
if it's a
well,
thumbs
no,
up.
I think that was to you saying that we're working on it.
How about now?
Check.
Says it's working.
All right, can you hear us now? Any sound?
My phone's not making any noise.
Well, shoot. I don't know.
That's okay.
TJ, can you hear us?
Well,
We have no sound, but that's all right. We still got everything recording. It won't make any difference. Everything's going into the place that it should. Okay, so you lose 180 pounds. How do you get even started on? So you were what, 400 pounds?
380.
380?
Yeah.
And what made you wake up and
370.
say, I don't want to be 380 anymore?
I had to go up a pound size, and it made me mad.
Really?
So I looked in the mirror. I was like, this is silly. So there, I started studying food. Kind of started studying.
Was changing your diet the biggest?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I lowered some calories, but just changing my diet, and then talking with friends, just picking their brains. Like, what's going to be the easiest exercise for a big guy?
Uh-huh.
And several bicycling. They all bicycle. And they're like, it's not hard on your body, hard on your butt, but you'll get used to it. And so that year it took about 3 or 4 months of just kind of changing my mind and changing my eating habits. And then on my birthday in September, I went and bought me a bike and rode it every day after that. Started, they were really good. I was dealing with Gearhead Outfitters in Jonesboro, kind of an Arkansas chain, and my days off were Mondays, and so I drove up to the store every Monday and just nerded out and picked their brains. What do you guys think? I never forget when I first bought my bike. They later told me after I lost weight, they're like, "Man, we never thought you'd even ride it, but we're glad you did." Because
most people probably don't.
Sure.
yeah, it's set in the garage. And they just said the best advice we can give you is just start small, ride 5 miles, go back the next day, ride 5 more. Then kind of like running, and as the weeks go, just increase your mileage and enjoy the bike, learn the bike, But anyway, then I just went into triathlons. By the time I started doing the triathlons, I was down to about 180, and so then I was kind of transformed into running.
And you just knew how to swim already?
No, it was terrible.
It was. Good. I like to hear that.
My very first try, I was the last person out of the lake.
Me too.
And I just like thank the good Lord that I still wasn't in the water. And I kept telling myself, you know what? I'm good at biking. I'm gonna catch them. Got on my bike. It was like a 14 plus mile loop, and never saw a soul. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Because that was my strong point was riding a bike. Never caught anyone, and then transition, put my shoes on, and I remember it was the 5K was the running distance, and the last mile I saw like 3 people and I passed them, and so I wasn't last. So and it just kind of stoked that fire, and then it just here we are.
I think it might have been Village Creek, even where we did that triathlon, Wilson.
Yeah, Mighty Mike.
Mighty Mike.
Oh my God!
great,
I
man.
thought I was going to die.
That's the only one I did, and I was so glad to get out of the water and not drown.
Yeah, you just see those buoys out there.
I was like holding on to the
Yes.
buoys. And then, all I knew was like, don't touch the boat. 'Cause if you touch
That's right.
the boat, they'll kick you out of the race. I'm like,
And they're asking you, "Do you need help?" I just want out of the water, man.
just touch the boat and it'll all be over.
It's pretty overwhelming. I mean, you're a long ways out there in that water.
Oh man.
You're never going to be that far out in the water, just
I do
like
too.
hanging out in the water.
Oh yeah, I was just floating on my back.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
literally.
It's definitely not swimming pool swimming.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that till They
you're
said
out
go, and I got in there, and I'm like, oh, and I was tired. I was like, whew, I'm tired. I'm going to touch down. I was like, whoa.
Meanwhile, Wilson's like
Yeah, he's like,
motorboats around everybody. I think you won that triathlon.
You're right. Amanda had not clipped into a bike until the night before the triathlon. Not
Yeah.
only had she not swam or done any sort of preparation in terms of swimming, but she hadn't even clipped into the bike. So I'm thinking, the whole time I'm thinking, like, just please, Amanda, have made it, because I wasn't 100% sure, but I thought that I heard her say, "Can I touch the boat?" or "Can I something?" I thought I heard like a distressed
I
Amanda.
did ask.
But I wasn't sure if that was her. But I didn't want to find out, so I just went and hoped that she
He just left her.
didn't drown.
Yeah. Bye.
And so the whole time I'm thinking, like, this is really going to suck if she got out of the water, like at first,
Yeah.
100 yards. And then sure enough, she comes motoring through at the end. And I already knew, the people at the end had told me she's on her way.
Well, what was hard was after I got out there, I'm like, okay, I got the bike. I can actually ride my bike. The gear's jammed. And you start up with like going up the hill.
Ugh.
And my gear's jammed, and I don't know anything about a bike. So I was like, it was locked me down in like first gear or whatever. And I got off and was walking it. I was like, and I just started riding in first gear. And then people were coming by like, do you need help? And I'm like, I'm jammed and I don't know what to do. And they're like, ooh. And then finally, it just kind of broke loose when I was riding, and I ended
I
up.
just usually just push buttons until it feels until it starts feeling better. And
That's the way he solves IT problems too.
exactly. Right? Turn
I was
it
like, I
off.
don't care if I have to ride this thing in first gear for the 13 miles or whatever it was. It's like, I'm going to ride it. So.
Oh, that's great.
I remember getting passed by all these people, and I had an excuse for every one of them. I go by and there's guy's got an Iron Man tattoo on his calf. And I'm like, well, I mean, the guy's an Iron Man. And then somebody comes by and he's not too fit, but he's younger. Like, he's a younger guy. That's probably what's going on there. And then like this 78-year-old guy in a Speedo goes by, and I'm like, well, I mean, he's
in flip flop.
he's probably retired, no big deal. And then this kid must have been 12, driving a legit Huffy. Like, no 10-speed. He's riding like a dirt bike, like you have as a
BMX
kid,
bike, yeah,
like
yeah.
a BMX bike. And I'm on like $800 road bike, and this little. And then I was like, I'm just out.
But like you
excuses.
said, he's 12.
He's 12.
He's got
I had to
energy
let
for
him
days.
win. It would have been rude.
Right.
And that was at Mighty Mike, wasn't it?
That was at Mighty Mike.
I remember that kid.
Do you really?
I do remember.
He was
that.
wearing a Speedo.
And he was riding a Huffy.
Yes, he was. Y'all think I'm exaggerating?
No, that's
That's hilarious that you remember.
I
that
remember that, man.
He came by Wilson, did
He passed a lot of
bunny hop, then did like an endo,
A bunny hop.
spun his handlebars around, took off.
See you later, Grandpa.
Asked me if I wanted to get on his pegs.
Check out my tabletop, bro.
Oh man. So you've been putting on the Village Creek race for how many years is that?
Man, it's officially, we just had our 8th year.
Oh, I didn't know it was that old.
Yeah.
The 10K.
Yeah, we're pretty old.
The
10, yeah, the 10 25K
10, yeah.
in January.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they just had our 8th year.
Nice. So you hadn't been running all that long before you decided to jump right in and put on a race.
No, actually, we came back from Sylamore, the 25K, that first year, and was like, man, we have all these trails right here in our own backyard. And we just don't have, it's not a big running community in Wynn. I think at most one time we had 15, 20 people that we could say, hey, let's go run. And they've moved off and to, different jobs. And basically, I would say on a regular basis, 5 or 6. I may be way off on that, but 5 or 6 people in our community that are just daily runners.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of support, we've always had wonderful support for Village Creek. And it is just a fun 25K, 10K. We're known for the cinnamon rolls, and I've heard in the past that you really like the 1 aid station deal that we offered. for
The deal that we offer.
we offer that one aid station. You're like, where's the food?
You have to cook it
Well,
yourself.
Village Creek as a whole is a big FU. When you get to it, you're like, well, I mean, we're not going too far out of here. We're just going down the road to Arkansas. I mean, the bridge to Arkansas is really flat. It shouldn't be that bad. And then
Right.
you get about, a quarter of a mile into that thing, and you're like, what in the hell is this all about?
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
It is. That's some really tough terrain. And then when you come out of the woods, and you're like, thank God I'm out of that
But then
nonsense.
it takes forever to get
and that
those
damn
last 2 miles.
that damn hill is atrocious. I mean, it just keeps. And then you come over the top of the hill,
Yeah.
and you're like, thank God. And what's waiting on you is more hill.
Yeah.
That's bigger than the first one.
Yeah, it's
And now
Village
you've got
Creek-
Almira.
yeah. So
And
now we're gonna,
you can have 50 miles of it instead
Yeah.
of 15.
She'll be there waiting.
yeah, she will be there waiting. Almira will be at the finish line. Yeah, so after Village Creek, I'm like, man, we have 30 to 34 miles of trails at Village Creek. It's the second largest state park in Arkansas, land-wise.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, I want people to come here and get a taste of all of it, because we have single track, we have Jeep road types. You've kind of, and the trail that you start Village Creek on is it's a wide trail. It's not, it's plenty of room. And then you get up on the ridge, you kind of gotta. It's an open trail as well, but it's got a good feel to it. But you've got 4 different types of trails out in the park, and so they're gonna get all of them. So out of that 32, 34 miles of trail system, we've locked in a 26.5 mile loop. So they're guaranteed a marathon, and 50 miles can do it twice. Be washing machine style.
What does that
But you're not
mean?
getting
I
off.
saw you say
you're not
that.
getting off until 26 point something miles is done.
True.
That's the only way.
What,
Are you gonna offer an aid station in between the start and the finish line?
Just one.
Just one.
It's called a pack and tow. No, we do have 4 aid stations per loop. So got to plan accordingly.
What is that? 4 aid stations per loop. That's every 5 miles.
6.5.
Average 6.5.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
What does washing machine mean?
Go
we're
one way.
gonna go. You're gonna start counterclockwise, and then they're gonna.
You turn around and go backwards. Yeah.
And then when they come back to the start finish, they're gonna go clockwise.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get both feels of the hills.
Yeah.
In
That's
case you missed something the
He's
first
just trying
time.
to help with he's trying to help with muscle and balance. Make sure you don't
Muscle
you know.
memory. That's right.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
When that right hip starts to go, then it's going to be
we'll
the
put it
left
on
hip
the
this
left hip.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's thoughtful.
It's all about sharing.
I said he was a nice guy.
Very thoughtful.
The hill that you ran down, you get to run up.
Yeah.
You know.
Not everybody thinks about these things. That's why it takes a special person to put on a 50
I
mile
bet you you're
race.
good friends with Brian Williams.
I don't know him.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of him. I hear he puts on a race, but
So you do the Sylamore 25K. It's your first 25K, and then you decide
my first trail run.
it's my first trail run. So I better RD a trail run. If I'm going to run one, I might as well.
Well, it really wasn't that clear until it was.
See what had happened. Was.
Matter of fact, after the 25K, I came with a buddy and we ran this Memphis Trail, the Memphis Trail series.
Trail series, yeah, the winter off-road
Little
series.
3K.
Yep.
Yeah, what a blast. It was a blast. And I'm just like, man, I have this at home. So I had 2 running buddies at that time, and we trained together. We've done a lot of things together, and we just kind of laid out the map. And my brother-in-law kind of was the computer register. He had done some road races, put on some road races, so he was the computer guy, and so we just kind of put it together. We mapped it out, and he logged it on ultrasign up and got it out there for the world to see, and Village Creek happened.
I would totally
Somebody
assume that
signed
you're a drug addict or alcoholic to have that kind of. That totally sounds like addict behavior to be like, I just ran this race. Now I'm going to host one. Blah, blah, blah.
Kind of.
Yeah. That's when you asked me, when you said you just woke up that morning and sent me a text message and started planning things, you said, do you ever do that? Just wake up and not think and do things? And I'm like, yeah, that's like what I do. That's exactly what I do. My eyes open.
205 episodes later.
Yeah, after I pushed send, I was like, man, it's
Still kind of
7:05 in the morning.
And here I am on the other end of it, like, yes, here's something. We got something to obsess over.
Oh, man.
That's wild. How many 100-mile races you done?
Well, I have completed one.
Okay, that's plenty.
Chattanooga. Yeah, it was glorious.
So you picked a horrible one, didn't you?
Yeah, that's the pretty
I
long
went
one.
that year, yeah. It was thunderstorms. It was magnificent. It was, of the 30 hours, I think 28 it stormed.
Oh, man.
It was a blast.
Oh, man.
Of course, that Brian Williams guy you spoke of, he was my pacer. And
He was there with his water bottle.
He borrowed mine. He didn't even have no.
He said it was storming. He just had his hands out.
Just has a funnel where he catches
Drinking
the
it off
rain.
his brow.
It was epic. We had trees falling. He was like, "Did you see that?" I was like, "Man, I don't care."
Just get me.
But it
off
blew a
this
couple of
mountain.
aid stations away. My wife, she later told us that we had just left one of the aid stations and a big strong storm come in while we were in the woods and just blew the aid station away.
Really?
Yeah, so I hit it just in time.
Wow.
Was this on Lookout Mountain? That race that's on Lookout Mountain?
It is. Yeah. Kind of runs, it starts in Georgia and then it runs into Covenant College and over in Chattanooga area. It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Sounds pretty gnarly. Chattanooga is not a flat place by any means.
No, there's a few hills. But yeah, several 50Ks, 50 milers, 100Ks. Just kind of just went through the transition.
Yeah.
And then Ardena race is just completely different.
Do you like that?
I love it.
Is it frustrating? Seems like there would just be a lot of frustration involved in that.
Frustrating?
Yeah.
I think the build-up of race day is just, you just can't wait for it to get here and see all your friends and just see people. I do enjoy watching people suffer, but in a good way. Like,
Sure.
I like to see
Suffering
them.
for the better.
Yes.
For the betterment of
They
them.
find themselves at Village Creek.
Yeah.
Even me and my friends, we talk about Village Creek. It's like, why does Village Creek seem to be so hard? Why does it? There's another guy that lives in the town next to me, really good friend of mine. He runs out there a lot, and he's a beast. I mean, he's a runner, and competing. He's competing, and he's like, man, why do I feel like I'm working so hard out here? It's like, I don't know. I mean, because I feel that way every time I run, so I don't know how to answer his question, but
I can run on the flat pavement. And why is this so hard?
Well, it is interesting how that works. Both times that I've run Village Creek, it's been before Sylamore, and I've thought there's just no way I can finish Sylamore. I mean, if that's 15 miles there,
but even Sylamore's different.
it's very different. They're all different.
They're all
They're all based on what you signed up for.
Yeah.
They all suck as bad as the distance you signed up for seem to be. I mean, if I sign up for a 5K at mile 2, I feel as horrible as I feel at mile 15 at a 50K.
Like, this 5K doesn't have any aid station.
Because
I thought about that.
I don't want to say anything to the race director, but man,
this is worse than Village Creek.
That's true, though. Every race has its own, I don't know, personality or whatever that you go out. We're going to do Fall Creek Falls, and that's, to me, a different feel than Sylamore, and it's a different feel than Village Creek. It's a different, I don't know, your mind just drops into that mode of what race you're doing.
But that's what makes every destination neat. I mean, you're not going to get waterfalls at Village Creek. You're not going to get, you will have a lot of creek crossings. There's a lot. So, if it's going to stay wet, but in May it'll be welcomed, possibly. I ordered cool weather, but But we have, like, I was running Sunday. I had a little long run Sunday, and I was just running part of the course, and it's just green, man. It's just so green right now, and the flowers and just all the wildflowers. And we have some plants inside Village Creek that they're nowhere else in Arkansas. And I was talking to the assistant superintendent there at the park. We had a meeting this last week, and she was reminding me of that. She's like, this park has things that nowhere else in Arkansas that so that's neat.
Yeah.
And just sharing that with everyone. I think if I remember correctly, I have like 10 different states coming. So Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Florida.
Cool.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So, I was telling you earlier, Missouri, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Tennessee are my big supporters. It's pretty even. But then you have those people, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. It's just neat to know that they're going to come and check Arkansas off their list and set Village Creek. So that's really cool. The park staff's super.
It's the right distance race at the right time of year
I think
for
so.
them.
I think so. People are going to use it, also for training runs, leading up to bigger races.
How many people do you have signed up for this race right now?
95, I believe. Somewhere around in there.
Do you have a limit? Or
I put a 125 cap on it.
Who puts that limit on there? Did you
I did.
just personally,
yeah.
or does the?
It's the first year I wanted to be able to take care of everyone.
Yeah.
Because it basically is other than the volunteers, it's my wife and I. So I want to make sure that I'm able to take care of everybody. And I think 125 is a good number.
with just that one aid station?
Yeah.
Wilson, I have.
But it will be a party at that aid station.
I have heard like a lot of the parks do like their permit has like a limitation or something like that. So I don't know if there is some number that eventually you could grow to where you top out and they would be like, nope, you can't have any more.
I think they might would approach me about it if I ever did. But working with them for so long, man, I have a great park. We have Village Creek's. The staff there, they're super supportive. They just trust me, and I hope I never break that trust with them, and I never plan on it. They trust my judgment, and Village Creek's kind of left a good taste in their mouth. The weekend of the race is I was talking to the park ranger and the superintendent last week, and they're like, this park is going to be absolutely nuts May the 1st. I'm like, why is that? I mean, we just got people running in the woods. I mean, they're like, well, we have a bluegrass festival going on in the lower campground, which you are familiar with at Village Creek, that figure 8 campground where the race starts. There's a bluegrass festival going on there. The runners are going to be running through that while the music's playing on.
That's cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
so, and then there's another concert going on at the other end of the park, which they really won't be around that. But then our event, and the campsites are sold out. We've opened an overflow. The cabins are sold out. A lot of the motels in the Forest City, which is next to a close town to Village Creek, and then Wynn, which is where I live. Hotel rooms are being booked, and so it's just a good thing.
I can remember Brian Williams telling me about Big Hill Pond with his interactions with the ranger and stuff out there, and he was like, he just wants people to come see his park.
Yeah.
Like
That's
that was
how-
his main agenda.
Yeah, that's how we actually have the same park ranger. Not really, but they're both Justins. And so my Justin, he just started in January. So he got hired on the if I'm not mistaken, the week before Village Creek. And he kind of came up to the end of the Village Creek run, and he was kind of mesmerized by it. He was like, man, this is cool. So he has been excellent to talk with, and he's going to be there. He wants to. I mean, he's like, man, can I get you some rangers? Can I get you this? What do you need? And I mean, so like they're they want people there.
Yeah.
I've informed them of how many states are coming, and they're super stoked. Like, man, they would never see our park if it wasn't for something like this. And so, then we got some projects. The runners will see it, but we have some projects coming up. The park and I are going to work on replacing there's a lot of steps in this route, and so we're going to do some step work. We're going to do some step work, and
Wilson's excited about that.
yeah. So anyway, yeah, we're just excited, man.
Very cool.
Yeah.
One of my most favorite pictures of my running career is me and Kathy Owens at the end of Village Creek. We're giving each other a high five.
That is. That would
I
be cool.
like that picture a lot.
Is that the finish line?
Means a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
So Lift Heavy Run Long is in the process of putting together our own event. And we're going to what we're trying to put together is a 12-hour endurance event with a 1-mile loop. And at the end of that, you can run as many loops as you want to. Every hour, you are awarded 1 set of deadlift and 1 set of bench press. This will all be scored and weighed, however we decide to factor in those things.
Whatever way skews it enough that we might win.
Yeah, right. But we're hoping to do that about a year from now.
Wow.
And so that's
Swift and Swole.
is it Swift and Swole or Swole and Swift?
I don't know. Swole and Swift.
I don't know, but they sound cool though.
Which one sounds better? Swift and Swole or Swole and Swift?
I think Swift and Swole.
I hate to disagree with
No,
the
go
guest, but it's lift heavy, run long, so it should be Swole and Swift.
That's a good point.
I
Or
think
not.
you should.
Or
Will
not.
this be on a?
Well, that's like saying,
I don't. Well, so I agree.
but it sounds better, so it should be Swift and Swole. I mean, who's gonna try to line it up with that and be like, no, it's not that way.
I did it.
He just did.
From a marketing standpoint, it should be alphabetical. The Swift and Swole, it would be
Okay.
the way that would line up.
I'm with you, Brian. It sounds better, Swift and Swole, but lift heavy, run long, Swole and Swift. It goes with that better. But we have a year to discuss this.
So will this be on a track?
I don't know.
No,
We-
it's not going to be on a track.
where are we gonna? Is it gonna be on concrete out at Shelby
No,
Farms?
I think it needs to be on a trail.
Needs to be on trail.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I think
Does it need to be a
dirt-
mile? Is a mile
A
significant?
1 mile
or
dirt loop.
Can it be 3 miles? Does it
We
make
should
any
just do
difference?
the blue loop at Stanky Creek.
Ooh,
Just one, just that loop over and over and over again.
Washing machine style.
That is.
That
so
sounds-
That would
bad.
be
You
great.
taught me
that
something.
sounds horrible.
Let's do
Like
it.
everything about that sounds bad.
1 round backwards, 1 round forwards,
Yes,
Oh no, thank you.
and then go pick up your barbell.
that sounds terrible.
Sign me up.
Sign me up.
That's a terrible venue.
So how long?
Actually, it's not. I mean,
Well, where are you going to park people in taco trucks?
They do.
And
oh well.
They do.
Where are you gonna plug
they
in?
do the Winter Off-Road Series there, and they have a lot of people show up there.
well, this is the winter off-roads.
And we're going to have shuttles. Well, you have to park off-site and get in the
There's
shuttle.
churches nearby that
Come
we
to
can
the-
park them at and shuttle them over.
Why don't you just go a place that has all that stuff?
You could do that.
That has a tent and a
Fine,
gazillion.
Because the Blue Loop doesn't
Sucks.
travel.
There's nothing magical about Stanky. That place is a dump.
Well, okay.
Stanky Creek is not a place to have.
This man's opinions do not align or necessarily align with the lift heavy run long.
We shouldn't have any problems putting this thing together. The way that we get along,
Oh yeah,
I'm sure
Yeah.
that it's just going to be smooth sailing.
it sounds great.
I'm interested to see if we could get people to participate in it. I don't know if we could get, for one, 12 hours is a long time. There's not a whole lot of people that are willing to run 12 hours. 2, there's not a lot of people that care about lifting and running. And the hope is that there'll be lifters and runners, some that would want to lift more than run,
Right.
and get
They'll team up.
and jump sides. You go to like a Tour de Spirit, or you go to any trail race and you get somebody that thinks they know what running is and they don't like it.
Right.
But then if you got them out there and they're like, we need you to do a loop for the team. Just go out there and do a loop. And then the next thing you know, they're like, well, dude, I'm out here. Might as well do another loop. But shoot, I've already gone. Might as well do a 5K since I'm here. And then they get to feel that whole feeling of what it's really like to be at an event like that where you're not like, it's not running on a treadmill.
Right.
It's not being in a 5K. It's an event. You know, and I think that there's a lot of people that if kind of nudged into experiencing that, it can be good for everybody.
I love it.
And the key is going to be how to gamerize that and score it and make the scoring fun and easy to understand.
So that Brian can win.
So that Brian can win.
Some great ideas.
I'll write the program that does the scoring. That's how I'll win.
Oh. Last name equals Swanson.
That's right.
Ding, 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 ding.
What else we got going on? I watched Ted Lasso. You ever seen Ted Lasso?
No.
I know that name, but I don't know.
Need to watch it. It's a show.
It's a true story?
No, not even close.
Okay.
But it's a great show. It's life-changing. Do you have Apple TV?
No. I have Hulu.
The way you said that was funny.
What's your setup? What do you have? You have Amazon Prime?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody. That's a stupid question.
Well,
to ask somebody.
it comes with your yearly Amazon
Yeah.
Prime deal, so.
So we have Hulu?
Yes, baby.
No, you don't have. I have Hulu Live. Sorry. That's
Vaughn
what-
just told me I didn't have it.
We have Hulu. We don't have
Now,
Hulu
of course,
Live.
you got to talk to Vaughn. He's the one that's saying we don't have it.
We don't have Hulu Live. We have Hulu.
Either way, I can't watch Memphis Grizzlies play basketball.
You can't.
That's really what he's most bitter about.
Yes.
How would you do that? How do you watch basketball? By buying a package these days?
Well, when you're supposed to have a cable subscription.
Does anybody still have cable subscriptions still?
Apparently they do.
Do you, Michael? Do you have cable? Is
We have YouTube TV
that what you
Where
watch?
you also can't watch the Grizzlies.
You can.
true.
Yep.
This is true.
or Cardinals baseball.
Can you watch 3, 5, and 13?
I can.
Or is that even
I
3,
can watch
5,
it
and
on
13?
Hulu
still
Live.
thing?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah.
Really?
On Hulu Live. Yeah.
Yeah, on Hulu Live. Yeah.
Interesting. So
gotta
we
be
don't have
live.
Hulu.
It's
Live.
just like having
That's
a
the
cable
only one we don't have.
subscription, except it's not a cable.
That's right.
Yeah, except
internet.
some of the regional stuff, those big streaming providers don't carry the
Yeah.
like Fox Sports South or whatever. Like played hardball, and so now like Comcast and
Yeah, they got bought out,
I think
didn't
DirecTV are the only two places that you can watch that regional network.
Do you know what's coming to a Byhalia neighborhood near you?
Fiber optics.
Fiber optics. God, dog.
I know you're excited.
I couldn't be any more excited. They're bringing cable to me. I came home. I am perpetually bitching about our internet. I mean, internet to me is my overall joy and happiness is based on our Wi-Fi connection, and it's constantly going out. And I hate Comcast, and I'm constantly complaining about Comcast. And I come home, and there's this super country looking dude, big beard. He's unrolling these plans, and he stops me at the edge of my driveway, and he's like, "You're just the guy I was wanting to see. I wanted to get permission to come on your property so we can set an anchor on your pole." And I was like,
You do what with my pole?
what do you need to do here? He's like, we gotta set an anchor on your pole to run this high speed internet we got going. I'm like, fiber? And he's like, I don't know what it is. It's high speed internet. We got to get on your property. I said, you can do whatever you need to do. I said, you can set a
Just
pole.
drop
in my,
one of those cords right by my house.
I told him, I said, you can set a pole in our living room if you need to. Just get that stuff over here. And it's they're clearing trees left and right off power lines.
That's pretty
All
awesome.
right.
It's going to be great. So that way we can continue to bring you soundless podcasts. High speed podcasts with no sound.
4K video without sound.
For some reason, I'm thinking that the speed of the internet has something to do with the quality of our production.
Yeah.
Our content should get better.
We could put subtitles maybe, so at least they could read what we were saying.
High speed internet will just deliver that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what we talk about will be more interesting. I just think we're going to be better.
Well,
better
the upside, you will be more well read because you have so much internet available to you.
That's right.
You'll be able to find the articles faster, and you'll just have this long list of things that we need to discuss.
As soon
It
as
won't
they,
stop at Ted Lasso. There'll be
Right,
all kinds of shows.
I mean,
that I'm
as soon as they flip the switch on that fiber internet, your IQ will double.
for sure.
Like just that day.
Yep.
You'll
Yep.
be wearing your glasses again.
My social status
Yeah.
will go up. I'll be a better person.
You'd be like the Incredible Hulk with the glasses. The new Hulk.
I'll take that. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. Hey, what's the thing in McDonald's that the big purple? Amanda, you can't answer this.
Oh.
The big purple guy.
Grimace?
Grimace.
There you go.
I wouldn't have been able to
Got
come
any
up with
more
that.
brain busters?
Amanda called him hummus.
I couldn't remember his name. I knew it was something.
There's a joke there.
I laughed so hard. She's like, "What's that guy's name? Hummus." Like, yeah, something like that.
That's so close.
What do you say? Do you say dinner or supper?
I
What
say
do you refer
What's
to
for
as
dinner?
dinner or
What's
supper?
for dinner?
Dinner.
And what time is that? What time do you ask that question?
What time do I ask?
Yeah.
8 o'clock in the morning.
I don't know. Sometime in the afternoon, maybe.
I mean,
Hey,
is
what's for
12
dinner?
o'clock dinner?
No, it's lunch.
Lunch.
What do you say, dinner or supper?
Dinner.
At what time? Dinner is what time?
Oh, man. 5 o'clock on.
Okay. What's that? What about you, Swanson?
I'm same way. I call it dinner, and it doesn't matter what time you eat it.
Do you ever say supper?
Not that I'm aware of.
What is supper?
Supper.
Dinner.
Another name for dinner.
Is that right?
That's my
I think that technically there's dinner and supper.
I don't know. My family interchanges dinner and supper. Mom will say supper. What do you want for supper?
But when you say
tell
they
you-
interchange, sometimes she call it dinner and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes she calls it supper.
I grab my phone, I go to Google, I type supper, and the very first Google search is supper versus dinner.
Wow.
Unless you go
Dinner
to
and supper are generally synonymous when referring to a meal in the evening. However, dinner can be considered by some to be a somewhat more formal word. In chiefly British English, supper can also refer to a light meal or snack that is eaten late in the evening.
I would have thought supper was the more formal. Supper.
Have you ever been in a supper club?
I have not.
Me neither.
You've been in a dinner club, though, before, haven't you?
You been in a
No.
dinner club?
No.
I know people talk about being in supper clubs. I don't know.
What's a supper club? I've never heard of that before.
I think like you have a dinner at a bunch of people's
Yeah.
houses. Like this week it's going to be at my house,
Oh.
and everyone's going to come have dinner. It's our supper club,
Gotcha.
and then next week it'll be at someone else's house.
Michael, they have those in Arkansas.
They do. Dinner clubs.
Dinner clubs.
Dining clubs.
Now, you're a barber.
I am.
You own your own
That's
shop?
right. I forgot about that.
I do.
Yeah.
That sounds like the most interesting job in the world. You and I were talking about that, and we are talking about what we both do and
Yeah.
our occupation. And one thing that you said to me that I have not stopped thinking about was you said every person that comes, I get a new therapist every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I get to be somebody else's.
Yeah.
And I thought that is, for somebody that likes people
Yeah.
and as good of a conversationalist as you are, that would be a great job.
Yeah, it's a perfect job.
I started going to the guy that cuts my hair on a 3-week schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even pay attention to what he does my hair.
Right.
I just like to go and shoot the shit with him.
Right.
And we talk about what I've been watching on Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah, it's never really about your hair.
Yeah. How long you been doing it?
26 years.
How'd you get into it?
Family. My dad, he's a barber. He just retired last July, 53 years
Really?
of barbering.
Man, I bet you know you live in a small town, I guess.
Yeah, 8,000 people, yeah.
You know 77,999 of them.
At least.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's great. You do need to like people.
Yeah.
That would help.
What's the opposite of a barber? That's the job I need.
I don't know. But I do. I'm a barber / I have to be careful how I say it. Beautician. I do both. Men and
Why
women.
do you have to be careful how you say that? There's some sort of licensing issue?
Yeah, there's 2 separate licenses.
Yeah.
But
See how I know these things?
The woman I used to go to when I was younger was a barber. She was not a beautician. She was a barber.
Because we just talked about the high-speed internet, and you're already getting faster. You're already getting smarter.
That's what I was trying to tell you. And the way that I knew that is because I was thinking about that high-speed internet.
Yeah.
So technically, the high-speed internet is already here.
I'm just impressed that you remembered all that from October. That's good, see?
Yeah, man.
That's
I
good.
pay attention. I like good
He
conversation.
really enjoyed his conversation. He talks about it all the time.
We had a good conversation.
He's like, I talked to Michael Hirons for the whole time. He's amazing.
I get on these. I have talked about you quite a bit.
Don't make it weird.
That's exactly. I was about to go into a completely weird story about somebody else where
Superman crush here.
Always with his clothes on.
There's a guy at our gym in particular, and I'm always complimenting him, and I'm like, man, you look so good. Like you've come so far. You look great. You look great. And I've like man crushed on him to the point to where I have to stop because I know it's uncomfortable.
Thanks, man.
But I just keep doing it because now I know that it's uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
So I can't stop now. I'm already invested. I don't know. Y'all just don't understand that.
Yeah, but we had a good day. That was a good day, man.
It was a good day.
That was a great day.
I can't think of anything more fitting for me to do than be in charge of accounting for people. Was it you that gave me the pad and the paper and said this? That was a horrible, horrible decision.
But we sure had a lot of fun.
Because I'm out there and I get into a conversation with everybody that comes by, and I'm like, what was their number? They're like 5 people.
Next thing you know, there's like 30 runners missing out on the trail that he hasn't accounted for.
This was 8 hours of thinking, God, I hope that the call doesn't come over the intercom that's like, we're missing runners number 2, 4, and 7. And I'd be like, according to my stats, there's like 40 people.
They've come through like 7 times according to my sheet.
Everybody's good.
What were those numbers again? Oh, yeah, that's good.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
Oh, that's good.
Do y'all, this is an important question. When you get new clothes and you take the tag off, do you rip it off, bite it in two, or cut it with scissors? Brian, we're starting with you. Thirsty.
I have done all of those things.
Okay.
More often than not, I'm a ripper.
Ripper. Just tear it.
I'm also a ripper. But sometimes, you get have you ever gotten the fancier clothes where it's got the thread that's like you can't pull it apart and it's hooked on there with like a metal paper clip or something?
That's what made
you
me
ever
bring
try
this?
to get a hold of that and try to yank it without thinking about it beforehand? Yeah.
That's what brought this question up, as a matter of fact. This shirt, Amanda got me this shirt, and it had a
cord.
It had a cord. Thank you, Amanda.
You're welcome.
For that.
See, the internet makes me smarter.
My wife has a
Hi-fi. That Wi-Fi.
My wife has a pet peeve where you don't take the tags off the clothes until you're 100% sure you're not going to take it back.
Oh, yeah. You should do that, but I don't.
She'll get so mad at me because the clothes will all come in. I'll just rip them all off. She goes, why'd you do that?
Because I was excited about my clothes.
Wear new clothes. And she's like, well, what if you want to take it back? And I'm like, I don't want to take it back. What if I want to take it back? Okay, sorry.
When you open presents, you shred all the wrapping paper,
Yeah,
don't you?
for sure.
Yeah. Do you bite it or
Just a ripper.
just rip it off?
As long as it's in a tag that can be ripped and the tag rips and it's okay, but if it is in the clothing, I cut it because I have ripped holes in the clothing before by pulling that tag.
Yeah, the tags that are attached with the little plastic piece, that they like loop through, whatever. I'm so bad about. Like I will try and hold both sides and break it.
Yeah.
But I'm so I'm so worried about accidentally pulling it through and like ripping a hole.
Pulling your finger off. Because that can happen.
Oh.
I've always bit through.
He was trying to bite through that cord.
I can bite through just about anything. I got one tooth right there.
That one tooth. That one good tooth.
He's got that country tooth there.
I whittle with it.
You whittle those miniature figurines.
I whittled a figurine once. I was at a church camp, and the church camp was mountaintop, and it's where groups of us go up there and we spend a week working in what's the mountains up there?
It's either Grundy County or Grootley Water.
These really poor areas, but all these churches from all around come, so you get to meet all these different people from different places, and these super country guys were there, and they're all out like dipping and whittling, and I was like, I want to whittle, like I want to whittle.
You got a knife?
So I got my friend's knife, and I was like, you got a knife? He's like, yeah. And so I'm like, okay. So I whittled like a couple times. I was like, I'm gonna make a canoe, and I'm like, and I sliced my damn hand right there. Blood was like,
you make a canoe out of your hand.
I had to go. I had to go to the hospital. I mean, it was like squirting blood. You can still see the scar right there.
Wow.
Yeah. So
And that ended Wilson's whittling.
that's all I got as far as whittling goes.
Well, okay.
Good times.
We're about out of time. Anybody else have any enthralling topics?
I
Come
want
on.
to say, how long have we known each other? Vaughn.
A long time. 15 years.
This week I learned Vaughn's first name is not Vaughn.
Yes, Justin.
I
my
feel
God.
like that's a fact that I've known for quite some time.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that, and I
Really?
saw that he posted his COVID card, and somebody was like, "Who's Justin?" He stole somebody's card, and he's like, "That's my first name," and I was like, "Today I learned."
Wow.
That must feel really strange after that many years, because
Yeah.
I remember the first time that I learned that Vaughn was named Justin. I was like, he's named Justin? And I hadn't known him a tenth that long.
Well, we do own a business together, to be fair.
That's right.
So you
So
probably,
he's seen his signature or his
Yeah,
legal name
so you
and stuff
probably
like
saw.
that. So
Yeah.
Does anybody call you Justin, like when you get in trouble?
I don't know anybody that calls me.
No
Justin.
one.
No.
Like your mom's never like, Vaughn Justin?
Justin
no, it's
Vaughn.
Justin Vaughn.
Justin Vaughn? That would make sense.
That's always if we have time, that's always an interesting thing for me, that parents that name their kid and intentionally like call them the middle name. Like what's the
The point.
mindset there of like Justin Vaughn, but then calling you Vaughn? And not that it's wrong. I'm just curious, like what drives that?
Same thing that made me left-handed, probably. I don't know.
I think I can maybe relate to that a little bit in that, our daughter's named Anderson. She was kind of the idea was going to be Andy Kate. And I call her Andy. And so I don't know that the intention was ever to call her Andy full time, but it just became that.
But that's different. Shortening a name and coming up with a nickname off the first name is not what I'm referring to. Like, they decided very early on to call him by his middle name as his primary name that he answers to. And that's just...
Is it a family
it's
name,
different
Vaughn?
to me.
No, my mom lived in Germany, and she had a dog named Vaughn.
Really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
Your mom lived in Germany.
that's what I... yeah, she was...
So Justin's
That's
not.
what Wilson heard. Your mom lived in Germany. The rest of us are like, Vaughn was named after a dog.
I don't know that is an entirely true story, but I know that story for some reason.
So
and Vaughn-
Justin's not a family name that they just wanted to hang on
Justin,
to.
my dad's Jim. My brother is Jason.
Oh, so they just
so
followed
it's
the J's.
J
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And so that's probably where the Justin...
Do they go by Jim and?
So your
Jason.
mom really wanted to call... So here we are. Your mom really wanted to call you Vaughn, but she
Yeah.
had to name you Justin
Because everybody else is a
everybody
J.
else had a
Right.
J name, and so now we get it. Okay.
What was Ann doing over there in Germany?
She was married to a fella that was in the Army or the Marines or something. And they lived there for like 8 years.
Nice.
And then they got divorced, and she came home, I guess, and met my dad.
Did she speak German?
A little bit.
That's pretty
Not-
cool.
Not a whole lot, I don't think.
I'm sure.
Do
I guess
you-
I've
I mean,
never
since-
heard her speak German. I mean,
except
She-
Vaughn.
right.
Well, Vaughn's German. Were you born knowing a little German?
No. I didn't have any
You
internet
were a
when I
little
was
German.
born. I had no internet when I was born, so I'm just
You couldn't
stupid.
know anything.
I'm just dumb.
You can't know anything.
Yeah, until
Because your knowledge is based on your speed.
I just got fiber like 2 months ago.
And it shows.
Yeah. So,
From the time you've gotten fiber, you've become better,
much better.
His life has been
stronger.
upgraded.
You've been stronger. You've been working out
Yes.
harder.
And I got glasses.
Do you think that? Do you think that you're that your reintroduction to the gym and fitness is because of your
fiber.
internet
Fiber.
or your glasses?
It is. It's exactly
Who
what
knows?
it is.
We'll revisit this
We
next.
should.
Lift Heavy Run Long number 205 is in the books.
Thanks for listening.